Hi, I'm Joseph Crudup, and this is my storybook. Today, the part 9 of this book called TDGs Before You Do. I will continue to read this book on page 35. Chapter 9 Before You Commit Development. Love is blind, but marriage restores the sight. In the full chapter, we explore the process of resources and development. The very intelligently, all companies use to investigate their market and its consumers' needs. As we've seen, the resource component is essentially provided you with an in-depth look at the person you'll consider as a possible life partner. After you gather data, gotten answers to your questions, and resources showing measures of understanding of who the other person you really is, then you are ready to implant in the next phase of your relationship as essentially the development of what it will take for you as a couple to make it for the long haul. It's not enough to know the other person. You must anticipate errors of comparable that will determine your stress factor for the remaining years of your life. You must develop the relationship the dynamics into accord points for building a house that you can withstand the potential storms that life brings. Four critical errors must be developed: preparation, desperation, simulation, and celebration. Depending on low personality, season of life, and relational needs, you may prioritize some errors of developmental higher than others. All errors need to be included in your process or relational administration before you commit. And however, you prioritizing them is fine, as long as you enter into the relationship with your eyes wide open. For example, know, know that you need for situation stimulation may also come with a high price tag or daily drama from your mate. Resource and deployment are equally important. Both developmentals and resources are important to keep growing and moving forward as a couple. Resource who your parent, resource who your partner is, expectation, integration, observation, investigation, and focus on areas of the development: preparation, desperation, stimulation, and celebration. Preparation, proclaiming, proactivated planning. A promise that shows no signs of preparation isn't much of a promise. If you really feel that this relationship is escalating, you should be able to see some preparation in place for what is next. If the person's prep doesn't match up with their plans, you either have someone who isn't afraid, who isn't much of a planner, and tends to be totally sponsorless, which may make for a great date but a horrible marriage, or they lack the ability to be strategic. This is okay as long as you can live with it and know about it going into the relationship. Most think of economic preparation, but that is only one aspect. You must ask questions that will reveal the other person's ability to anticipate both issues and solutions before they arise. These kinds of questions show you their preparation levels and will help you know what's important to them. What do you see yourself 10 years from now, if we got married, have you given a thought to where we will live? Also, and the person emotionally and physically ready to commit, can they walk through the issues and conflicts that naturally arise in even the best of relationships? Mental preparation is just important as financial, physical, and emotional groundwork that families would need to be blamed. Then the future impact on each family member must be considered. Introduces and conversations would need to happen over time and not in an atomic bomb with relation. Three-dimensional preparation, understanding the past, materializing the present, and at the 10th panel, the future is the key to success. Lastly, relationships. Preparation. Just as preparation is a key to success in any professional environment, so it is true for personal relationships. It's like in taking any trip or journey. Say you and your partner are taken to a road trip to the coast. It's a 7 hour, 350-mile drive, and you've never been there before. You need maps, beds, snacks, and maybe a pack of lunch, water, and your favorite widget for the drive. You have to make sure the car has enough gas and that you have money for gas along the way. Blankets in case you want to picnic as a beach trip. So you need to take sunscreen, low bathing suits, and lake weights. Constantly clothing for dinner out on the trail. You have to areas for the cat to be fed while you are away and get permission from the boss to take the time off from work. If you don't consider these issues, you'll arrive at your destination and spend more time and money buying the things you need to than you will relax and enjoy the sun and the sand. Also, regulate to bring mats or fill up the gas tank, and you may find yourself either lost or out of gas. At first glance, like a trip to the beach, relationship seems easy and all fine at first, but consider the preparation it takes for just a trip to the beach. It's clear that relationships mean for the long haul require a great deal of preparation to last. Desperation, given and taken. Desperation. Desperate times calls for desperate measures. As an old egg dog remind us, but you don't want to find yourself moaning in a quicksand of someone else's desperation. Many times desperate people were desperate before they meet you. Their pursuit of you may be influenced by their age or by a need for validation, or maybe they want to get their criticized through marriage. Whatever may influences their movements, we must watch out for desperation people. They do the right thing, but for the wrong reason. Many women or men who discuss marriage on the first or second date come off as desperate. Some may say some say they want to disqualify anyone who isn't heading in a serious direction, which I can appreciate. But bringing up the topic before you really know the other person raise a red flag, not a white blind girl. A man wants to find someone who's in love with him, not with the idea of being married. People are often married to share especially or to get help with parenting. But what happens when the economic change or the children grow up? nothing is left to hold them together. You must determine if this person who you consider spending the life of your life as a whole personal already, or the fact that you're looking for someone else to complete them. One of the real problems here is that we often become involved with a person who is fit with what they need and have given little to no thought about what they bring. We call them lovers, but they are really losters, takers, and not givers. Thus is focused inward on self gratification at every level, while love is focused on the other person, on the well being, on no relationship. You cannot be a desperate giver, but you can be a desperate taker. The famous line from the movie Jerry Maguire, "You compete me," has always struck me as a little too sentimental in our tree. The Almighty created each of us to be competed in the divine image, secure in all indefinitely as God's child. Marriage is not a 50-50 deal. It is a 100 deal. 100 deal. Requires both parents to contribute 100% or they bring instead of complete me. We should focus on someone who complements what we bring, even as we adhere their strengths and perspectives for their error of need. Marriage is created a union that is stronger than the individuals. Desperate is a red flag. If you ever find yourself feeling desperate in a relationship, you probably know now that emotionally you are not at your very best. Desperation can manifest itself in many forms. You think about your beloved consistently, wonder where they are, what they are doing, and when you will see them again. You case the hat and instead alone. Start calling your friends, dropping everything to run to their side wherever they call. When your partner is happy, you are happy. When your partner is miserable, you are miserable. You have no identifier on your own. And your entire existence is wrapped up in no relationship. When nothing else in your life matters, having someone with you, what you has no interest in or live life on their own. Because day and night, and makes you the center of their life 24/7. Might seem to plot impurely at first, but it should be a red flag that perhaps that has some holes in their physical or existence. They are looking to you to feel. And all these situations can become ignoring at the very least, and at the worst can become dangerous. Situational level of engagement. One of the most overlooked errors to consider in any relationship is solution, simulation, stimulation. I'm not talking about the flower or the butterflies in your stomach while, when the other person enters the room. No, I'm not talking about the ability to cause a physical reaction in your body or sexual stimulation. The kind of stimulation I had in mind emerged from the ability to engage your mind, as no emotions, and your imagination or wild ways of life topics. More mirrors die of boredom than any other melody. More more partners engaged in an affair or become addicted to porn or some other deviant habit because they are bored in their marriage. Essentially no excuse for such wrongdoing. But works like a little gray posing that takes its inevitable toll on each of you. In my travels, I frequently see couples in the restaurants totally ignoring what the other's presence. He's burying his newspaper while she works a crossword puzzle or talk on her cell. They might as well be alone for the way they regard the presence of their second fanatic others, other. They have become resistant to the point, predictable routines that now drain the life from them both. As time passes and the years go by, you will become intimidated in quarantining with each other's ways to the point of profitability. However, the secret to any relationship is finding ways to keep improving yourself and then bringing that to the table. A low relationship. Readers, you can be conversational, learning something about his or her career field, caring about the details of their day. When you engage in about the other person's life, you reforming their desire to share more about their day, and who they are. If you're going to marry the NFL football player, you must know something about sports, or you're not being a trophy wife. If your wife was in a music industry, you want to know something about sound equipment or music contracts or something that makes you revel in the whole world. It's also important that you have life outside of the person you are interested in. Partners who want to grow together, they must encourage each other to cultivate their friendships, interests, and hobbies independently. These people who brought that talk together at the end of the day have so much more to talk about, so much to share. They are saluting people. They salute and they salute each other. They must also know how to divide their lives without even losing sight of the shared life you had together. Can you have any disagreement or politics that leads you both in gazing or and not defeated? Are you willing to read a new meal together and discuss your reactions to the main characters? Eliminate. Does he encourage you to start that new business we always dreaming about, or does he causes the smoothing inboard, inboard of hope with his permission and disguise as will listen? Does he encourage you to take that weekend fishing trip with the boys? Trust you to enjoy the great outdoors without heart, lifelong learning and striving and stimulation, and all the hallmarks of a happy relationship that can go to the distance. Keep in mind that the person you marry will be there longer than you can imagine, long after the interest and sexual attraction has worn down, long after the inundated common marriage, low point life season, like after the kids have moved out and you left facing each other in the silence of an empty house. We must salute to each other to go and enjoy all that life has to offer. mental solution. One of the most important components to a successful relationship is communication. The ability to respectfully and honestly discuss issues with your partner is one of the key to a long-lasting bond. Couples who have been married for a long time often realize that one of the things that someone special might unfold between them was their ability to have long situational conversations about everything under the sun. Others say that no matter how long they know each other, they are always learning new things about the other, staying interested in life, and maintaining hobbies and expertise that are important to you outside of law. Law relationship makes you an interesting person to come home to. Future sharing interests such as reading, theater, sports, or charitable work can work to bring you closer together and offer other topics for good discussions. Celebrate, gift, and comfort. Finally, you must discover your ability to celebrate and be celebrated by the other person in your life. There must be room in the relationship for feeling good and enjoying each other on a daily basis. This is usually easier to do in the early stage of the relationship when the banquet roses are delivered to your desk at lunch, or when she surprises you with candles and your favorite R&B music back in her place. But over time, as the novel wears off and the boardroom theaters to say in, you need to know how the other person faces the gifts that each day and each season provides. You must ask yourself what the other person gives to you and how they give it at their conditions and inspirations with their words or the cause of it. What do they want to in return for that lovely cultural wants? If gifts are given conditionally, then you might as well buy down for yourself. Because the interest in payments will be much more affordable. Like most people, I want to be where I'm celebrated and not just tolerated. In order to discriminate the differences, we must pay attention to what the other person celebrates. Do they remember birthdays? What is their attitude regarding the quality of everyday life? Do they notice the sunsets, the smell of spring in the air, or the laughter of the child skipping on the sidewalk? Are they more of the promise or the realist? And don't think for a moment that pessimists are always the negative, build, depressed people. I've seen many cheerful, upbeat, happy-go-lucky type people who work hard to make their end goal, and pessimists do for the figure of the smiling face. Being celebrated does not mean that life is always a party. Celebration includes confronting and consoling them through the dark days. In fact, the ability to celebrate the joys of life, even a man is bitter downturns, is a priceless quality that you will find only in a small number of ways. Mental individuals, it's easy to celebrate the good times when it's said that we draw the comfort and kiss at midnight. but you need someone to stand by you after the holiday ends and the workdays begin. The workdays begins. Celebrating each other. Recalls how you felt as a child on the morning of your birthday. The night before you could barely sleep while you anticipated the party you will have. All your friends from school who will be there. Your aunts, uncles, cousins, and of course your beloved grandparents, who always made you feel like the most special person in the room. While we are older and more mature now, we all want to be celebrated in that way, just a little bit, once in a while. Feeling celebrated in a love relationship is essential to its health. It's nice to be the object of the celebration, and it's equally important to plan celebrations for your partner. Whether it is for big celebrations like birthdays, anniversaries, and job promotions, or celebrate the smaller things in life that other matter to the two of you, making your loved ones feel special and cherishes in ways that matter to them helps to create a long-lasting bond between partners. These arrows are development on the heels of doing your resource and are eventually important if you are seriously considering a commitment to another person. You must be willing to tolerate, observe, and investigate them if you are to know who they really are. To fine-tune your expectations, you must also explain them through the forms of preparation and desperation, as well as stewardship and celebration. You must make an informed decision about each of these categories, so you know what you're getting into before you did. That's the end of this chapter 9 of this book. Tomorrow we'll be reading the book on chapter 10. Before you get engaged, 20 final exam questions you must ask. Start on page number 145. Till then, I'm Joseph Crudup. I will be seeing you tomorrow. Take care.